Welcome to brand new Peacemaker Season 2 spoiler review here at Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinnenberg. Today I am breaking down Season 2, Episode 6, Ignorance is Chris. The third to last episode of this season of DC's Peacemaker. So my name is Max Dinnenberg. Welcome back to Max Talks Movies. If you're new guys to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell if you're new to the channel. I do movie, TV show reviews, added theater reactions, movie franchise rankings, and every single Monday I break down the box office. So please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on this new episode of Peacemaker? Where does the season stand for you as of now? Any bold predictions for where they're going to leave things here in these final two episodes? Love to hear your thoughts on Peacemaker down in the comments. And also, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. So I just want to apologize first to start this review. My plan when Peacemaker Season 2 came out, and I did a spoiler review for the first episode, was to cover the show on a weekly basis. But for the last couple of weeks, basically when Peacemaker came out, I just hadn't had time to do a review for Peacemaker. And because I was usually on Thursdays and Fridays, I do movie reviews because I go to the movies every Thursday and Friday basically. And then usually on the weekends, I'm quite busy. So it's always tough to kind of fit in a review for Peacemaker. But, felt really terrible and didn't want to just wait. I was thinking to myself, I've already missed a couple episodes of covering it. Should I just wait until the finale? And no, this is my YouTube channel. I want to control what I'm putting out. And even though this is a couple days late, I wanted to talk Peacemaker because I loved episode 6 of this season. Now, overall, was not loving the season. The first half or so, first 4 episodes, I would say, were not episodes that were like the most for me. It felt like a very major step down from the quality of season 1 because they split up the 11th Street Kids basically throughout the entire show, really until these last 2 episodes. And I've talked about this on the channel with multiple shows. A good example is Only Murders in the Building. A couple seasons ago, they basically split up the main trio in that show who are investigating these crimes. And obviously the show was at fault because the show is only as interesting as when the three of them are together. And I think this show is very similar where, yes, these are each interesting enough characters to stand on their own. And it's fine when they're doing their own things. The show doesn't really become great, in my opinion, until the 11th Street Kids are kind of together doing their thing. And obviously, in these last 2 episodes, that's what we got. So the 11th Street Kids follow Chris into his dimension. We see Chris is getting along just fine with his society, not understanding what it is towards the end of the episode. Did the selfie, got to hang out with Amelia. And that's when the 11th Street Kids come in. I actually liked that part where the 11th Street Kids are kind of talking about things and they go to Adrian's home and his mom has all these stereotypes of how his friends are discussed. They go to Adrian's room. He's keeping all this drugs and money, doesn't touch the money because in his mind, it's blood money. Even though he's still working as like a busboy at this restaurant, he has a crap ton of money and obviously adds Amelia and Akatovos are financially struggling at the moment, so they take the money for themselves. But obviously Ads is the one who remembers how Chris got the dimension to move there. They go in and we get the really funny back and forth between Amelia and Chris's brother, who obviously thinks it's this, this version of Amelia. Really funny back and forth there as well. But they kind of all split up at this point where Adrian wants to go see his alternate self, which was a great, funny bit. Freddie Stroma, who I thought was the funniest part of season 1 of the show, just hasn't had a lot to do in season 2, really until this episode. And he is, once again, is always a scene stealer. And the Spider-Man meme and just his back and forth and what each version of Vigilante, the similarities were. But then they realized the one key difference is that our vigilante, he's best friends with Peacemaker. This dimension's vigilante, his arch rival is Peacemaker. And we know that the people that were infiltrating that building a couple episodes ago, where Chris kind of proved himself to this dimension by killing all of them, realizing that those are definitely the heroes of this story. And Adrian is a part of that group. So that was kind of also a big reveal. Ads and Economos stay at the house with Eagly, and Amelia goes with Chris to go to Argus. Because again, she was in the shower, so she's not going to be there yet. Obviously, she doesn't know that yet, but they have all the cocaine on her. She kind of gets touched up. We'll get to that scene in just a second. The big cameo scene is when we go to Belle Reve. We learn that the prisoner that Rick Flag Sr. is meeting with is indeed Lex Luthor, played by Nicholas Hoult of this year's Superman movie. And I thought it was a really excellent scene. I agree. Some people are saying that Nicholas Hoult acted differently or had a different tone or whatever it was. Of course he did. He felt like he was on top of the world in the Superman movie, very confident about his situation, how to stop metahumans, all of these things. Now he's in prison. Now he doesn't have the same power that he did outside. And Nick Holt delivered. I thought it was a better performance in this one episode for me in one scene than the Superman movie. And I definitely liked him in the Superman movie, but loved him in the scene. It's also always fun seeing PG-13 characters go into a rated R show because obviously he's not cursing in Superman the movie. But here, Lex curses multiple times, which I thought was kind of funny. As again, it's the same universe, but we're going from a PG-13 franchise to a rated R franchise, which I always think is fun. So they make a deal. I like when Lex is like, let's just get to the bottom of it. And it's the fact that he has someone on the outside who can help point them in the direction of where they can find the dimensional rift. And he's like, what could the U.S. government get me that's not freedom? And Rick says redemption. So I think this is setting up Superman Man of Tomorrow because again, Superman Man of Tomorrow, the sequel to Superman, which is coming out in 2027, we're getting the team up of Superman and Lex Luthor going up against Brainiac. And obviously, it doesn't make a lot of sense on the page why Superman and Lex Luthor would get along. But again, Superman, that footage has him very shunned by society, and now you have Lex working for the government. So I think Superman's going to have to be in a position where he needs help, and the government, I believe, is going to force Lex to be the one who helps Superman deal with Brainiac. So again, I still think if you didn't see Peacemaker, they're not going to make you feel like you've missed so much where you feel lost in Superman 2, but I think this rewards you for watching all of the shows. That if you do understand this, if you've watched this episode, you know the connection between Lex and the government. And obviously, he says later, Rick, he says, we are now working with Lex Luthor. So we get this, I think, the best scene of, honestly, not just this season, of the whole show, Chris and Amelia, our versions of Chris and Amelia. And this obviously because she had cocaine on her, she had to be checked. And Chris fully admits, I'm in love with you. I left you guys behind. And then, you can tell Amelia is just so she takes, she's someone who has never felt like someone could love her in that way. She feels like she's such a hard-nosed, broken person that whoever, she feels like whoever thinks of this love that Chris has for her, she's just going to break their heart. And she just she's like, well, if I love you, will you come back with us? And if I don't, you're going to stay here. Chris talked about how much he loves this dimension. You could really feel, I thought it was the best acting moments I have seen from Jennifer Holland, and it's the best acted scene I've ever seen from John Cena. So credit to both actors, but especially Jennifer Holland, who plays, again, a very hard-nosed, tough person in the show, giving such a vulnerable performance in this scene was really well done. But then we get to the big ending twist. And as we all expected, this is the Dimension X, the dimension in the comics where Germany won World War II. So there were some hidden flags in the Argus offices of this dimension, and it was hiding that it has the swastika in the flag instead of the stars that make the country as it goes on the walk, and all of the white people notice and are chasing after her due to the color of her skin, as well as Augie stabs Economos through the hand, so he's now real, and Economos basically tells Augie everything that his version of Chris is dead, and this is the other version of Chris, all of these things, and it leaves a very dark cliffhanger where, yes, this show is very funny. It can be a very lighthearted show, cartoonish violence, but this was a very dark episode where Ads is the only black person in this society that's, I guess, let out because Chris was like, one got out, which is a terrifying line in this situation. It's also sad that Amelia was the one who, being there for like a hot second, realized that everyone around them was white, and Chris never realized that. So I found this episode to be very powerful, moving as pertains to this relationship, very dark towards the end of the episode. Still had its lighthearted moments, great cameo, not in I think what I was nervous about going into the season, especially knowing that they didn't release these final three episodes to the critics, was it would just be a cameo fest because it's the multiverse. I think Lex's cameo makes a lot of sense. I don't think we're going to see Lex again. I don't think we're going to get Superman in the show. I think the more you do that, the more it takes away from the show itself. Cameos are cameos sometimes. I think Lex's cameo made sense. You just don't want to do cameos for cameo's sake. And I thought the Lexus one did well. Let's see what happens in the final two episodes. So, guys, what are your thoughts on this new episode of Peacemaker? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What are your predictions for the final two episodes? Let me know down in the comments. Like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.